Hi there, my name is Kramer Wetzel. This is for astrofish.net, the weekly fishing guide to the stars. This is for the week that's going to start Monday, March 3rd, 2008. Welcome, one and all. Unlikely event that it's not obvious. I'm at the lake right now and I'm fishing. Gee, what was your first clue? Clear blue sky, drives the fish kind of deep and a little underwater. I got one line in the water over there I'm kind of keeping an eye on. The other thing that I would really be keeping an eye on right now has to do with Mars. Mars is about 29 degrees of Gemini this morning, and it's going to be opposite Mr. Pluto for the rest of this week. Mars is going to hit Cancer this week too. Now, what does that mean? It means we're going to set up for kind of a tension angle right now. An opposition like this is going to bring certain very frustrating energies to the surface. I was looking for an example, and I think I might have one right here. Hold on, we'll see. A little weed bed right over here to the edge of right here at the edge of the shoreline where I'm working, and I've been trying to rip a rattle trap through the weed bed. If you'll notice here, what we have here is your rattle trap lure, as you can see, and dangling from it, you can also see there's some weeds. Now, what that gave me was a false sense of like there was a fish there, and I pull on it real hard, and I think that I've caught a big fish. Turns out it's nothing more than water weeds. That's kind of what this is about, though. That's kind of what I would watch for at this time. It's one of the things that we want to be careful about. When I was dealing with that particular lure and when I was catching the water weeds with it, what I wanted to do was to get it down right so it was going right over the top of the weed. Didn't quite work like that, but you have to admit that I gave it a good try, and I got all happy about it too. As long as we've got Mars in this particular position, and as long as we've got Pluto in this particular position, what it's going to do is set up a difficult kind of energy. What we do with that energy, that's what's so important. It's how you address this material. It's how you work with it. Despite the real spring-like weather that you can see with the clear blue sky behind me, despite the spring-like weather, there's also a fairly stiff breeze coming off the lake. I can get worked up about this breeze because it's kind of hard to throw bait into the wind like that. On the other hand, it also means that it's not particularly warm. And it's really quite comfortable out. So it's a matter of how we deal with what is coming up and how we deal with what is going on. Mars and Pluto, they're not going to play nice with each other. You can bet there's going to be some fairly tremendous upheaval in this next week. We're also dealing with, especially the next about 5-7 days, we're dealing with the moon getting really, really thin. And as the moon gets really, really thin, people have a tendency to become more and more problematic. And I don't know how to put that politely. And there's not an easy way to deal with that. Got to watch my line over there. It's a matter of like realizing what's there and not getting too worked up. I got all excited when I hooked one of those big pieces of weed because I thought for sure that I'd had myself a nice big fish. Well, it wasn't really a fish. It was just some aquatic vegetation. As we go through this week, are we hitting something that's real or is it just aquatic vegetation? It's okay to get excited. It's also one of those things you got to watch out for. You can't get too excited when it turns out it's just a piece of something that was floating in the lake. It's not altogether bad. Before I came out here this morning, I had run by the bank, and I went through one of those drive-through teller things, and I had a couple of checks from clients, and one of them, it wasn't even addressed to me. They just given me a blank check. And, the person it was to was not filled out when I say blank check. I dropped that in a deposit slip in the little thing and shot the tube up to the teller, and the teller sent it back and said I had to fill it out. It's a new teller, obviously one that I haven't ever dealt with before. And it's a little frustrating because usually what they do is they just stamp it and it's all good. But, oh no, this one I had to fill out all the blanks. And then I had to endorse all the checks. And you know what? That's just a pain in the neck if you ask me. And I think that was really kind of rude. I mean, these people watch my money. I think they should at least help me with some of the paperwork that I have to do. Nope, they're not going to help with the paperwork. Therein is the problem. Once again, we're dealing with Mars opposite Pluto. How we react to this? I just very patiently pulled out a pen and filled it out and handed it back, and it's all good now. I got my money put in the bank, and everybody's happy, and nobody got all upset, okay? That's what we're looking at. It's one of the things you want to watch for. People are going to be a little fractious about this stuff. You can't do anything about it. It's like this wind that's blowing in off the lake. Is it good or is it bad? Actually, I'm kind of enjoying it because it keeps everything cool right now. That's what you want to look for. That's what we're aiming for. Now, as Pluto and Mars face off against each other, remember to keep your cool. Good luck. Y'all have a good week now, you hear? My name is Kramer Wetzel, and I approve of this message. Paid for by astrofish.net.